I know I've done a couple of videos of this before, but I've just finished watching Making a Murderer. Wow, I mean, I've, it's like I've non-stop watching this program, and I was astounded that I'd never actually ever heard of this before. But as I was watching the documentary, there were people from all over the world, coming together and defending Steve Avery. If you don't know the story, basically it seems that this town in America had it in for this family, and they wrongfully put him up for uh, raping a woman, and he spent years in prison. He got out because he didn't do it. DNA test shows that he didn't commit the crime, and now and then as he was about to sue the court system, he was then, I believe, framed for this murder of this woman, and he has spent many years behind bars now as his family grow old and stuff. And this woman lawyer has come in, and she basically she proved everything that his defence lawyers couldn't. She came in and she made a great case on his innocence, and the court system is not going to listen to him. And not only that, it was a young boy who very stupidly said what the cops wanted to hear, and he is now spending the rest of his time in jail. Nobody wants to go on. Well, there were some judges, but some of the judges got overruled by the other judges, and this family of the woman who was killed, they just want these two people in jail. They come across as they're not interested in finding out the truth about who killed, the sister, their daughter, their loved one, or whatnot, and they're just happy to believe in a court trial that didn't exactly prove on his guilt. And we've had manipulation. The guy who was prosecuting Stephen Avery, he was just a slime bag, and he spent most of his life just writing books and putting this guy down because his own life is over. He got found out. He was tweeting this abused woman and using his power, or so-called power of. And you've got this corrupt police station that, as I say, was trying to frame him. And the head sheriff, and the reason why they were framing him is because he's going to sue this police force for a lot of money, and so they had to make sure that we don't want to pay all that amount, so we're just going to make this guy look guilty. I've always had a problem since John F. Kennedy. I've always believed that was a cover-up. It could be an accident that has been covered up, but it's a cover-up, more or less, because there's a lot of things in that case that didn't make sense. And you watch programs like CSI and stuff like that, and these crime dramas and whatnot, they've got evidence that states, they'll look at bullet fragments, they'll look at this, they've got the technology to dissect what actually happened. And this is what this woman lawyer did. this is what this woman lawyer did in the show, um, and she had all the evidence, but nobody wanted to hear. This, along with many other people around the world, especially Stephen Avery, this will stay in their heads. I mean, there is a guy locked up who's done this sort of lie detector test, but it's more advanced than a lie detector test. Uh, it was called was it a fingerprint test or something like that, and it was somehow more liable. And the guy who done the test firmly believes now, after, because Stephen Avery was up for anything. He didn't shy away anything to prove his innocence, and he did the test and he passed it. And the guy that constructed the test says, "You are innocent." Meanwhile, there's some relatives, friends, or whatnot of Stephen Avery who, on the computer, has images of basically the way this woman ended up, and there was evidence to on the computer that wasn't used in the court trial. It wasn't used, and because because it was kept away from the defence lawyers who were there at the time, and the cops from this other county didn't use it, right? They kind of hid it because they believe they have this man and they just want him down. So for me, the law doesn't work. Forget what colour of skin you are. Only thing that counts on this is if people like you, and if you've got money and all that sort of stuff. It is doesn't now the woman lawyer in this. She agrees. She believes in the jury system. She believes in the jury system. And one of the juries actually came out. He had to leave because of family problems or something like that. So they brought in another one, and he regrets leaving it because he believed in Stephen Avery's innocence. And there is a lot of people now. And the people who did it, of course, they're not like your serial killers. They know they got away with it, and they framed it on either a family member and stuff, and the likelihood for them to accomplish something like that again would be down to zero. And I just can't believe this family, this woman would watch this making a murderer and not want another trial. Let's listen to the evidence, because this is a family that didn't have much money. He used the money that he got, from his previous trial that was rewarded to him, to just get a couple of lawyers. And I was clinging on to the very end, and I was just hoping, because I googled Stephen Avery and it didn't say he was free, so I just hoped that somehow I read the wrong bit, and I watched every episode. I stayed up quite late at night, and he wasn't pardoned. He's still in jail. So for me, no, the jury system does not work, and what I believe that should happen, and I don't believe judges work either, because when in this series, when they gave the judges all the evidence that contradicts everything that's went on before, when it really cast a shadow of doubt over Stephen Avery's guilt, when presented with all the facts, the judges refuse to do it because they don't want to stab another judge in the back. So judges, juries, all thing in common, it's human. So what do I believe that they should do? Get rid of the juries, and have absolute evidence that can be re-examined as technology gets better and better down the road, just like the introduction to DNA. And if there is one shadow of doubt over somebody's guilt, then it cannot be done. So what would I recommend for that? For these people that do it? Well, you have a tagging system. Tag that person. And then, I don't believe in the Big Brother thing with the cameras everywhere. I don't believe that. But tagging system could work. And if that person's in the vicinity of a gang of something or whatnot, there are ways to do this where you can basically, as the technology goes on, say, right, but when the evidence looks like it's been tampered with, doubt. When you have experts around the world confirming the doubt and say this cannot happen, you cannot convict. People will look at people and judge within 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what evidence you give them. Doesn't matter. They either like you or they hate you, and nothing will change their opinion. And I've witnessed that in my life so many times, and I've often wondered why certain people don't like people, and even when you present them with the facts, they refuse to listen because it makes them look stupid. And I believe that the court system does not want to take this woman on that's representing Stephen Avery because they know they'll lose. And I'm forever wondering what the heck is a president for when he can't intervene and say, listen, let's just start another trial. I cannot free the person, but I can stimulate that there should be another trial. But again, goes down to all these theories that the president is just a figurehead. He's just a poster boy, or she is, and he has no power whatsoever. And I am scared now to think about how many other innocent people are in jail, either just because they couldn't afford a good lawyer, or you have biased people in it. It's scary to think that. And I'm disgusted, and it will stay within my mind until this person is released. So tell me, how do you feel? Have you watched Making a Murderer? Has it changed your idea? Do you think this family should watch the series and reconsider not putting any sort of if there's no evidence for this young boy that was actually there, if there's no DNA samples, if there's none of that, the young girl that was representing the boy later on said she was just rubbish. She had no experience, and she just kept to the one subject, and I think definitely was, even though she spent overnight answering so many questions from people that's meant to be studying her. And then you get this woman that's representing Stephen Avery, who basically, for me, I would get that woman onto that boy's side, because the two of the cases are connected. I'm surprised the lawyers from Stephen Avery from the first trial didn't come and all join forces. Because how many people in the government? You saw the prosecuting side. They had a full team against two. It'll be like the country against this woman. That's when you know the law is shite. Well, if you disagree with me, dislike, but to me, you're close-minded. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.